almost 12:30. And I just got to thinking that I am just tired of all these trials, tired of all these bills being being passed, and people, I don't know, people acting like it's for the good of the people. Some people saying it's for the bad of the people. It's not, it's bad for the people. And if it's something that's going to be bad for us, why do we even let it get presented? Why does it even get that far? And I said before in another video, if you have representation that's not representing you, you need to get rid of them during the elections. I'm not pointing or singling anybody out or trying to say one group or another group. Just point blank. If you have a representative that's not representing you, that's doing the opposite of what is in your best interest, then you need to vote them out. When I say get rid of, I mean vote them out. You need to find another candidate in that same, in the same, you know, Democrat, Republican, whatever, or somebody that is saying all the things and has a track record of doing things that you can trust more than whoever is in there now. I'm sorry my energy is kind of low, but like I said, I just got off. I've been working doubles, and that's a shame too because in order to catch up on bills and to stay on top of bills, you have to work extra doubles and extra jobs. I don't have an extra job, but I'm just saying I used to. But you have to work extra jobs and do all this. And then we get raises. But if you really look at it, the raises are on time for where the economy is at. So the raises are on time. It's like, it's almost as if really, it's not, I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling it to the fact of it's making me catch up to anything or keeping me in front of anything. When you get these raises, all it is just putting you, you know, it's not even really putting you equal to the cost of living. It's just, yeah, on paper it looks good. You look like you're making more money. But then if you say if I went back like 5 years ago, yeah, maybe the money that I'm making now would be something ahead of, where the economy's at. But no, it's like every time everything goes up, now you're going to pay me more. And you're not even paying me what's equivalent to where the economy is going or where it's at. Say you give me $1 more, but the economy went up $2 or $3 more, as far as the cost of living went up $2 or $3 more. But you gave me $1 or you gave me $2. Let's say, just say you gave me $2. What I'm just saying is, it's when can we get a raise? Like, give me a $5 or $10 raise. I'm not asking for that. What I'm just saying is, then we can, if you give me a $5 or $10 raise, then we'll be like, okay, at least I will have a feeling like, okay, I think I'm catching up to the economy. Or I'm almost there. Then again, you may not be because things cost a lot. You know, and I just the other day, someone told me they paid $50 for a haircut. I'm not saying, haircuts have went up. Remember, haircuts used to be like $10, $5, $10 for a long time. Then I think it went to like 20 or something like that. But the thing was, I was like getting haircuts and giving tips. And, I feel like, if I'm paying $40 or $50 for a haircut and then I'm giving you a tip, you know. So, a lot of people have gone to cutting their own hair. I did it for years. The only reason I go to a barber now is because of this. I feel a barber will maintain this better than me. My top of my head is easy to cut, cut low, cut bald. But beards, I'm not an expert in that. But getting back to what I was saying, the if you have representatives, if you have people that representing you and they're not representing you how you want to be represented, and I do mean your politicians and all that stuff, I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're Republican or if you're Democrat, if you're independent, what party, it doesn't matter. If they are not representing you, you need to get rid of them. Because I can't, if someone's representing me, I want them to be in there fighting in my best interest. If I am part of the middle class or whatever, and you're doing things toward for the upper higher class than I am, why are you representing me? You should be representing that class in a different neighborhood or a different state or a different area. The people that represent us should be equal to us. Not saying you can make the same amount of money, but you should have the same interests. You should have the same common goal. You know, there's a lot of people out here who claim they love America and they don't. You can't tell me you love America and you do the things that you do and you don't say anything that's against America or that's going to bring America down or that's representing America in a negative light. You can't tell me you love this country if you're doing things or not doing what you should be doing to represent this country. Everybody's so quick to say how much they love America, and they don't. They can't. Because if they did, a lot of things wouldn't be happening as they are. And then you would know who you should be really fighting or who you should be really trying to, make sure to get something across or to get something that's going to help us out as a whole, that's going to help us out, as a whole group. All this racism and all this classism and all this, craziness that's going around. We are too, I don't know, we're just too focused on the wrong thing. We don't have our minds on what counts. We're sitting here talking about the Diddy trial. We're sitting here talking about, these reality show people, and and they have more money than us, and they're not even thinking about us. And then yeah, they will depend on us for money, for ratings, for to help you get out of jail, to help or maybe help you. You know what I mean? Those type things. But once those things are over and done with, they're not even gonna think twice about none of us. And people don't seem to think that, or not think that, but realize that. And like I said, I'm working class. You can tell. I have a 9 to 5, not really 9 to 5, but you know what I'm saying. And I get out here and I try to make my money work. I try to, spend on what I can. I try to stay healthy. And yeah, staying healthy costs. Not saying, I mean, it's not like $1 million, but the thing is, it costs more than unhealthy foods. Yeah, you can go out and go buy some ramen noodles or something else cheap or whatever, but that stuff in the long run will unalive you, and it's not good for you. Same thing with a lot of other, things. But that's a whole nother topic. That's a whole nother story. What I'm just talking about now is just really what's going on in America. We claim we love this country. My last video was about Independence Day, which was making me think about being independent from other countries. But it seemed like we're turning into those other countries. It seemed like those values and those ways people are trying to press that on us. And what happened to we were so different. Yeah, of course we weren't so different. The underlining America wasn't really different, but the thing is, at least the illusion that we were giving was different. Now the illusion is not even there. I know someone that came here a couple of years ago to America, and recently was saying how they were under the impression America was a certain way, and now they found out it's not. They found out that we are not as we seem to other countries. Our decision making, our education, our due diligence, our fight for rights. France, what they had? Remember, France had their what was that? The retirement age went up about a year or two, and they had a fit and was about to burn down the whole country. And what happened? Didn't they stop that? Then they were like, okay, we're not going to do that. Let it happen here. Let it happen here. Mm-mm. They, We just nonchalantly take it and just keep going. But we'll sit here and loot, and we'll sit here and fight and all this other stuff for all this other frivolous stuff that don't even have nothing to do with us. And I say that lightly. I'm not saying that everything that people have gotten angry about was frivolous, but a lot of stuff was, and a lot of the rioting and looting and stuff. It's like looting. What does the looting and rioting have to do with the issues? So you're showing how mad you are by stealing. You're showing how angry you are by beating one of your fellow men up, or the authorities, or you're really trying to, show your anger by ransacking cars and burning up stuff in your neighborhood at that. And I cracked up that time when, what was that, when some people were going in other people's neighborhoods and about to try to do the rioting and looting, and the people of those neighborhoods stood up and was like, no, you're not coming in here. And they had those guns and everything. Here in Chicago, there's a little area called, it's a suburb, right, borderline of Chicago, called Cicero. And I know some of those Chicagoans were going to come over there and loot and do all that stuff in Cicero. And those folks, who was predominantly Spanish, was standing right out there with their bang bangs and all that other stuff. And those people stopped right in their tracks. I was so happy and so laughing about it. Because, yeah, if you go burn and do all this stuff, why are you going in other people's neighborhoods doing that? And then this is the thing: if it was so important, why didn't they keep going? Because it wasn't that important. Because the excuse is to go and riot and burn and do all that crap and be acting silly. But anyway, I just felt like I just had to get on here and rant a little bit because I'm tired, and I've been working quite a bit, and I deserve some time off, and I got a vacation coming up, and I'm going to enjoy it. That's another thing too. People should be out here enjoying as much as they can. Yeah, I live in Chicago. Chicago gets a little rough here and there, but I try to stay out of those different areas. But you don't know when something might pop off. Yeah, you don't know when somebody might, do the most, and But the thing is, I can't run and hide. I can't be in the house all day. I can't just stop living life because you got a few out here that are just like making it difficult for everybody else. You know, I can't just go run and hide. Nobody can do that. We did that during the pandemic. In fact, I did it, but there were people that were trying to still be out there during the pandemic. But during the pandemic, for how long? For at least 2 years, I was like shut down. I mean, I wasn't doing anything, and I'm very active. And I just was like, nope. And then I did get sick and got sick for 2 weeks and was hospitalized. And I'm in decent shape. It's just I had a bad strain on my lungs, but I'm in a decent shape. And in fact, that's what saved me, because I was already in a decent shape. And when I got hospitalized, I was able to recover without any underlining, side effects. Thank God on that too, or any underlining conditions that made my, COVID worse. And so, but and I pray for those who didn't make it, and I pray for those who have developed, like, side illnesses from that. There's some people that are still suffering from COVID, and people, like, because you don't know anyone or because you're not suffering from it, but there are people out here that are suffering from it and having side effects from that. I'm not even about to go on the shots and go on about, all the other stuff that happened and that's affecting people from that whole thing. I don't want to go through that. But back on the issue of our country, how much do you love your country? Do you love your country enough to go out here and let your representative know they either have to speak up, or they have to disagree, not speak up, they have to disagree. Yeah, I say speak up because a lot of them are silent, and they need to say something. They need to say no if they don't like something. Not be silent. Not be afraid of our president, who's their boss. Not be afraid of the majority. Stop being followers. And I'm talking about everybody across the board. I don't follow. I try not to follow the news that much because it's the same old, and it's kind of, it's kind of negative. It's kind of depressing. But the thing is, I keep up enough on it just to kind of know what's going on. Our big beautiful bill. Someone called it big. Someone I know was calling it big beautiful law. I was cracking up, the big beautiful law, but the big beautiful bill. Now I don't know verbatim what's all in it and what's from A to Z. But my thing is, if it's things in it that's not good for America, we shouldn't have it. If it's things that are good for America, okay, we should have it. And if it's not good, we shouldn't have it. I thought I said shouldn't. I'm slurring and stuff, so it's like my should and shouldn't. I'm not sure what I'm saying, if I'm articulating it correctly. But we should have things that are good for America. That's going to be good for us Americans. If you're an American, act like an American. Why are we acting like we come from another country, or we're staying silent about things that are happening, or ignoring what's happening? We got to stop doing that. We got to really speak up, because if we don't, we're going to find ourselves living as if we're in a third world, or living like being in poverty. You know, it could get a lot worse, and that's what we shouldn't get to. This country has too much money, too much invested in it for us to be poor or broken down or not being able to afford anything. You know? I mean, come on. Like I said, I'm not being on anyone's side. If anybody's side I'm being on the side of the people, which is us, our side, what benefits us. If things are not going to benefit us in the long run, why are we allowing it to happen? Why are we staying silent? Yeah, we do a lot of marches and we do a lot of protesting and all that, but the people that can really make things count, maybe we need to go to our representatives and protest at their houses instead of downtown. Because if you have, say a senator or a representative or whatever, you have one of them and you know their neighborhood or you know where they're at, go protest in front of their house to let them know, hey, you need to say something. Hey, you need to do this. Now believe me, I'm not trying to be an organizer of this stuff, but I'm just saying, why aren't we doing something that will matter? Like really matter, that will affect that particular person that you want them to move, or you want them to do something. Just because we're doing the same old protesting that we're doing, but just like say if I'm not at the protest, just like us that are not at the protest, these people that can make the difference with the stroke of a pen, or the saying of nay or yay, they are watching it just like we are, and it's not pressuring them at all, because they're just watching it, and they're going to continue to do what they do because they're far removed from that protest and from us. But if they have to look us in the face, or they have to be accountable for what they're doing some type of way where it affects them, then I think it'll be more effective that way. And it will prompt them to either to do the right thing. And like I said, if they don't do the right thing, then it is up to us to get rid of that person, to put someone in there who will do the right thing. And I'm not saying change the party. I am not saying that. I'm saying get someone in there, because I truly believe we can have all the parties in there, and it doesn't matter who's in there and what party is what party, if they are doing and things for America and American people. It don't matter what party you're in. There could be 3 or 4 different parties. If you're doing the right thing for America, then those decisions can be made no matter who's there. Right, left, center, no matter who's there, those decisions can be made. Those decisions can be done. We can make America greater, because you can't say great again, greater than what it's ever been. And that's what it's about, making America and Americans greater than what we've been before. We need to evolve. We need to evolve into something better. just like we are all just like the caterpillars in the cocoon, and we coming out like the butterfly. We're coming out bigger and beautiful and better than what we were when we went in. And that's what we should be trying to do. Not sit here and just go backwards, or not sit here and be like just fighting each other and arguing with each other. This is supposedly, remember, America is supposed to be the melting pot. It's supposed to be all the nationalities, all the different countries, all the different people from everywhere. Yeah, okay, that's fine. But the thing is, we have to look out for each other, and we have to look out for our country. If we don't, where are we going to be? Where are we going to be? If you don't look out for, it's just like your neighborhood. If you don't look out for your neighborhood's going to go down. That means you're not going to be able to walk outside peacefully and have a peace of mind if you don't do anything about it. But if you sit there and idly just let things fall apart, what do you expect? Moving is not the solution, because if everybody can move, and that's what people have done, then when you move, guess what? You move all that trash that you were doing in your old neighborhood to a newer neighborhood, and now this cycle starts all over again. Even if it doesn't start and end with you, now it's going to transcend to the kids. You see what I'm saying? And now that neighborhood's going to go down. And it's not because of the people, like say it's not because of the grade of people. It's because of behavior and the same old habits that we have. We're moving it from one place to another instead of trying to make it better. And then if you're not making it better, that's why they have different rules in different neighborhoods and different people in those neighborhoods who will call you out, and who will call out the city or the state to come call you out. And if they have to call you out through your pockets, they will call you out through your pockets. You know what I'm saying? That's just like when you go to a neighborhood and you're playing loud music and it's 10 o'clock at night, 11 o'clock at night, and people got to work because you come from a neighborhood that allowed you to do that. So you think it's okay to do that because you're outside. It's the public and all that. Well, it don't work that way. People, you have to be respectful of other people, or just like when you litter, you throw trash out on the ground. You have to be mindful of that stuff. That stuff will add up. Trash will add up. And then that stuff will be just blowing everywhere. And then when you passing by a neighborhood, have you ever gone past in any neighborhood and then you see trash, but you see just a little dots of the trash, but you know it's trash? Well, that stuff adds up, and then you can tell trash. You can tell cleanliness from trash. And that's what happens. And then so your neighborhood just piles up with trash, and now your neighborhood looks like trash because you thought you could throw that little bubblegum wrapper on the ground and it wouldn't matter, and it doesn't. It's just one little wrapper. Yeah, but if you got about 20 or 30 people doing the same exact thing and do it more than once for a whole week period or a month period, guess what? Everybody's not going to be picking up and cleaning their yard up as every day and every night. So that stuff's going to accumulate, and it's going to just like pile up and look trashy. Haven't you ever gone from one neighborhood to another and you can kind of tell the difference of those neighborhoods and tell the difference of who cleans up and who doesn't? Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying everyone's perfect, but I'm just saying if you don't, we got to nip it in the bud. The answer, just like the answer is not to clean up every time there's a mess up. How about the answer is curb the mess up? How about the answer is make accountable the mess up? Make whoever's messing up accountable for that. Because if you don't tell someone they're doing wrong, how would they know they're doing wrong? A lot of them don't feel that it's wrong. Even if they know it's wrong or it's a wrong thing, they think it's okay because they think they can get away with it and keep doing it, and maybe it makes them feel good. I don't know what the thing is, but no one's going to know what to do unless you show them or tell them how to do it, and or hold them accountable. Accountability. I think that's the word for 2025 to 26. Let's go accountability. Make everyone accountable for everything they do and say, And then not only that, you just can't pick and choose who you want to be accountable, or pick and choose what to pick and choose what will be held accountable. It's just like you can't say, oh, I'm just giving an example. Please, it's just an example. You can't say, hey, You guys forget about slavery. Slavery, that come on, slavery in America, that's been over with. Let's get past that. But then when you start talking about the Holocaust, now everyone's up in a frenzy, and to me, it's like, what is the difference of the atrocity of it? Because either way it went, people died, and no one's life was less than the other or greater than the other, because at the end of the day, there were people, there were lives who should have been spared. But like I was saying, you can't pick and choose what is to be held accountable. It's got to be across the board. If you're holding the unalivement accountable, I don't care who it is. It's got, even if it's our criminal society, you have to still hold it at that level. You can't say, well, they did do this, so maybe it's okay to unalive them, but we can't. You can't do that. You got to kind of be across the board with it. You know what I'm saying? You can't go over here and say, that person, they did it because they're savage. But that person did the same thing. But you know what? They're going through mental problems and mental issues. And so that was probably a breakdown. No, at the end of the day, unalivement or crime or whatever it is what it is. And people have to be held accountable no matter what the reasons are. And when it comes to our government, they have to be held accountable for the decisions that they make for us. You can't make decisions for the government without talking about it, without coming to an agreement, or without going through the protocol. When we go out of protocol, then that's when we become messy. And when we become messy, messy gets messier. If you don't nip it in the bud, the messy will continue to be messy. So we have to curb the messiness. Now, I hope I'm just ranting, and food for thought. All of it is food for thought. But if you like what I said, please like, and you can comment. But be nice. I'm not trying to be nasty, mean, or I'm not really trying to pick and choose sides. I'm not doing that. I'm just like, just why aren't people held accountable for the decisions they're making out here for us and for our lives, our future, our neighborhood, our livelihood? Why aren't they held accountable for it? If you're making a bad decision, I need to vote you out. If you're going against what I feel, you're going against what I believe in, I need to vote you out. Simple as that. Why would I have someone in there and go, oh man, he didn't say nothing at the meeting? I thought he was going to at least tell them, we deserve a raise, or tell them don't tax us that much or whatever. And then if they're not speaking up for you, why did you vote for him? Because the purpose was for this person to represent you, to represent us wherever you're at. I'm in Chicago. So whoever I vote for, they're supposed to represent me. But I'm not going to get on here and tell you or tell the whole world, hey, I'm not going to vote for that person because they're doing that, or I'm going to vote for this person. No, I'm not here to do that. I'm just saying, personally, if I don't like something that's going on and someone is in control of it, if I have control to get them out or to keep them there, I'm going to exercise that control. And that's what we need to do. That's all I'm saying. I just feel like there are a lot of people out here voicing their opinions and voicing to their congressmen and their senators and things like that about what they're doing and what they're not doing. But there's a lot of people out here, to me, that are just silent. And then there's a lot of people that disagree with who their representatives, what they're doing, but you're still voting them in. That's what's blowing me. You keep voting these people in here like you don't know any other names, or you don't know any other, or there's no other check mark or no other box or no other circle there besides that person. And when you do that, I guarantee you, if we did more of that, whoever goes in there, I guarantee you, whatever, how many years, 2 years, 4 years, or whatever, I guarantee you they will be on their best behavior because they want to come back to serve more time. I guarantee you, they'll be on their best behavior because they don't want to be voted out. But if they feel that you're going to just lay there and not do nothing, they're just going to keep doing what they're doing because then they feel, well, I'm going to be doing this for 20 years or 30 years because no one's going to do anything about it. Right? All right. So, like I said, oh, who said hi? Stitch Girl. How you doing? Like and like. CJ, hi. Thank you for watching. Stitch Girl, thank you for watching. Is it JJ? JJ, thank you for watching. If you're still watching, I don't know. How y'all doing? This is totally live. Yeah. And like I said, like and and tune in and subscribe. Subscribe to this channel. I'll do more reactions and more things that I want to do on here. You know, I'm not getting paid. I'm not getting paid to do this. I don't have 1,000 subscribers. Not on this channel. No, no. This is like my go-to rant channel, I think, and communicate with other people channel. So, if you want to come on here and rant with me, fine. But I don't want any negative people or no people like. I mean, you can be negative, like say in a nice way, but don't be negative and be chewing me out and dragging me and all that other stuff. That trips me out. You know how people be trolling and doing all that. All right, so thank you all for watching, and I'll be back. I come on here every now and then. All right, peace out. Peace.